Hi everyone, my name is Tori, this is Nova Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video where I'm going to be discussing Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm going to be comparing the book to the TV show that recently just came out. So if you've read the book, you obviously know how the TV show goes. I basically have spent the last week reading the book, and then I watched the TV show. I completely binged it in about 3 days. So basically how this video is going to go is I'm going to talk about the book, I'm going to review the book, and then I'm going to talk about the TV show, review the TV show, and then I'm going to compare the differences between the book and the TV show. So let's just dive into the book review. So Daisy Jones and the Six is written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She published this book in 2019 and it was picked up by obviously Amazon to be produced into a movie. So this book is written very differently than any way she's written any of her other books before. It is written as a interview where she is the author and she is interviewing everyone that was in the band. She was interviewing Daisy, she was interviewing the tour manager, she was interviewing the people who helped to make and create the album, and she was also interviewing people who kind of were romantically involved with them. So with this book, it starts out with we see the Six. Well, at the time it was the Dunn brothers. They were this band that was formed in Pittsburgh. Billy and Graham kind of started it with their friends, Pete and Warren and Eddie, and they created this, band. Billy's a pretty good singer. You kind of see how they got started. They started playing gigs, they started playing, different things, and then they were told, if you want to continue, you have to go to LA. You have to go to LA, you have to move out there. And they move out there, I'm paraphrasing, but they get a record deal or whatever. But in between, we're seeing Daisy Jones. Daisy Jones in the book is this very eclectic person where she's wanting to do what she wants to do. This takes place during the 60s and the 70s. And it's a very interesting era to write about. There's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of substance abuse. There is a lot of women and sex, and it's talked about freely, and that's all great, and I love that about this book. Then we see the main part of this book where, the Six they changed their name to the Six because there's 6 people. They bring in a keyboardist, Karen, so now there's the 6 of them. They create their first album, and it is great. Then they go on tour, and you see Billy and now his wife Camilla, which she plays a huge part in the book, and I really enjoyed her character. She's probably one of my favorite characters in the book. You see that when he goes on tour, he loses it. He is all about drugs, all about alcohol, kind of overusing. She found him cheating on tour. She went to surprise him, and she said, you have until the end of the tour to get it together, and then you're going to be a man, and you're going to raise this child with me, or you're going to leave. He basically doesn't see his daughter being born. He misses that because he goes into rehab. When he comes out, he's completely clean, and they kind of not start fresh, but they start working on their next album. And when they start working on their next album, the record label is like, you need someone else to kind of make a little bit more of an impact to your music. And at the time, the same record label and the same producer, Teddy, he was looking at Daisy Jones, who was a songwriter. She just wanted to write songs. She wanted to do something for herself. She's tired of being used. She's tired of being the muse. She wants to be the one who is known, right, for writing songs and performing and stuff like that. So Billy and Daisy hate each other at the beginning. They do not work well together. Billy likes his band because he is literally the front runner of the band, and he kind of makes all the decisions, and they've always kind of let him do that, right? And with this book, it becomes very, very clear that while Billy loves Camilla, he has this flame that was ignited for Daisy. And you see this very, very interesting dynamic. When you write songs, you have to be very open and very honest, and especially when you're writing with someone, they get to know you on a deeper level, right? And that's basically what happens. So people kind of have assumed that Billy and Daisy have something going on, and in the book they kiss once, and that was pretty much it. And it was Daisy kissing him, and so basically it ends with him being with Camilla. And I really like the interview style of this book. It's not my favorite book that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written, but I like that we got to see Billy and Daisy kind of grow, but we also see Camilla be this very, very strong woman that stands by Billy, and it shows how powerful kind of love can be, and how a connection with someone can be, is that you may have this connection with someone else, but when you commit yourself to someone, you commit yourself. Do you know what I mean? So I really, really liked the book. I really enjoyed reading it. Now for the TV show. The TV show picked up by Amazon. It was 10 episodes, about 45 minutes each. I think the last episode was an hour long. And I will say that they did a very good job catching the era of the 60s and the 70s. It was a very, very, like, how do I say this? It was very true to that. Would I say it's true to the book? No. So basically it starts off the same. We see the six, we see what they're doing. At the time it's the Dunn brothers. We see them kind of in Pittsburgh doing all this. You see it bounces back and forth, kind of like parallels. In the book, it's separated by eras, sections of time. In the TV show, things are happening kind of like parallel, if that makes sense. Do I think it needed to be 10 episodes? No, I think it could have been 8. There was 2 episodes I did not particularly like. I felt like it was just more filler episodes, but with TV, that happens. So basically, we see them go to LA. Camilla becomes more part of the band in the TV show, and she is there the whole time. She is this photographer, videographer that's, filming everything for them. She's there when they rise to fame. She's there when they go on tour, where Billy messes up, when he goes to rehab. I will say that the actor who played Billy, what is his name? I forgot his name, but he did a really good job. He portrayed the emotions. I will say that Daisy in the TV show is not my favorite character. I liked her in the book because she is this very different person, but in the TV show, she's very quirky. That's not how she is in the book, so it was very, very weird. But you see her doing her thing. She's very much into the drugs, the alcohol. She takes uppers and then she takes downers to go to sleep. She mixes everything with champagne. She's going pretty hard. And what bothered me the most is that they're called the Six, right? But there's only 5 of them in there. They left one of the characters, Pete. They just left him out of the band. So it was kind of confusing that they still called them the Six, even though there was only 5 of them. But basically, they follow the same storyline as the book. But I will say that they had a little bit more romance with Billy and Daisy, and I didn't particularly like it. I will say that the episodes pretty much followed the little chapters and the eras, the times as the book. They did a really good job of sticking to it. There was some direct quotes, and I really particularly liked that. So I gave the book 4 stars. If I were to rate the show, I would probably give it 4 stars as well. There's some main differences that I do want to go through. Like I said, there's 6 in the band in the book because they're called the Six. In the TV show, there's 5, which was very, very weird. Pete was missing. And I actually looked this up because I wanted to see why they didn't put him in there. And some of the producers said that they didn't want Pete in the show because he wasn't a big part in the book, which is true. He was not a big part. He didn't play any major things. Like, obviously, Graham being Billy's brother was very, very, very important. You have Karen, who had a thing with Graham. They had a really little relationship. The drummer was probably another one that wasn't as important, but he's the drummer. You have to have a drummer, you know what I mean? And then you have Eddie, who plays a big part of, I would say, the dynamic of the band. So yeah, you needed those. I could see why they did away with Pete, but it really did bug me because they're called the Six for a reason. There wasn't 6 people in there. And I will say, in the book, Camilla, like I said, plays a huge, huge, huge part. Not only is she Billy's partner at the beginning, like their boyfriend and girlfriend, they struggle with when he goes to LA. She stays with her parents in Pittsburgh. And when he gets a record deal, she's like, he says, marry me and come out here. And that's when they actually do get married and she comes out here. But in the TV show, Camilla goes with them. She travels the country with them, kind of documenting it, which I think that they made her have a bigger part in the TV show to show that she was there. In the book, you see that Billy constantly calls her on when they're going to LA. When they're in LA, he's constantly talking about her and talking to her. I guess in the TV show, they really wanted her to see her doing that, and that's the way that they could do it, is give her this role of photographer, I guess you could say. That was her dream and passion, which I particularly loved her character in the book. I think that they did her wrong in the TV show. In the TV show, she is pegged to be that woman, as in that wife that will constantly pick and get jealous. In the book, she is not like that. She understands that Billy loves her and she loves Billy. They have a life together. Which also a big difference is, in the book, she has 3 kids with Billy. 1 daughter, Julia, who is actually the interviewer in the book. You see that she's putting this together after her mother passed away, after Camilla passes away. But also they have twins. And the twins and that pregnancy plays a big part in the book. In the TV show, they don't have twins, which is very weird to me that they chose not to do that, because that was a pivotal moment for Billy. But I really liked Camilla in the book because she was this strong woman that stood by Billy. She understood what he was doing. She understood that this was his dream. She wasn't going to let him mess up her life too. So she gave him choices. You can either get it together or you leave, right? She was very stern with him. And the TV show, the first time where she catches him cheating, they have it out, and she is that person that's in the book. Now, when they romanticize Billy and Daisy's kind of connection, that's what I didn't like, which is another big, big, big difference. Like I said, in the book, They kiss once, and it's actually Daisy who kisses Billy. Daisy does it because they're having this moment, and he pulls away and says, I can't, I have Camilla, basically. I have a life. She is the love of my life, and I'm committed to her. Do you know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't see this very intimate connection and electricity that Daisy and Billy have. They are the same halves. Like, they have the same darkness, they have the same issues, and they have the same struggles. It's basically like you're looking at the mirror of yourself, and that's exactly how I can describe Billy and Daisy. So you have this connection. Do I think that they would have worked long term? Absolutely not. But because they were two basically same, they fought like crazy, but they passionately cared about each other, and they passionately cared about music, which I think is why they created such amazing music. And that's what it shows in the TV show and in the book. It's this out of this world #1, tracks and stuff like that. And the album was amazing. One difference of the show and the book, the show showed more of the songs, the songwriting process, the actual finished songs, which I really liked. I liked that the music aspect and the producing and everything like that was such a big part of the TV show. In the book, it's mostly just them telling we were in the studio. But in the TV show, they're showing we're in the studio, we're creating this music, and Daisy and Billy are sitting down and writing music together and stuff like that. So I didn't mention Simone all too much. So Simone in the book is Daisy's best friend. She comes in when needed. Simone comes in when Daisy needs someone that's on her side, because most of the band is on Billy's side. Do you know what I mean? Because they grew up, they're a family. They've created something from nothing, basically. But Simone comes in during the book when Daisy is losing her shit after she gets married to someone she probably shouldn't have. Simone comes and helps her. She just is someone to stand by her side. In the TV show, she has a bigger role. There was like one episode where most of the episode was about Simone, and I didn't personally care. Like, I liked that they did that because they like to make the characters have some type of depth. In the book, Simone is just Daisy's best friend. But in the TV show, you see her as this woman who does she choose her fame and her career over love? And that was a big part of it. And I did enjoy it. That was a major difference from the book to the TV show. Going off the romantic thing, Billy and Daisy kiss once in the book, and then in the TV show, they over romanticize it. So when there's a part where Billy is trying to have Daisy belt out this song, get her voice to do something it's never done before, get this ache in her voice, right? And she is he tells her to just scream, and it sounds awful the first couple times. But I will say that in the TV show, when that happens, they go outside because Daisy's like, I give up, I can't do this, I don't know what you're wanting me to do. And he kisses her. And that makes me mad because in the book, it shows how conflicted Billy is from the love of his life, the person that he married, the person that he has children with, to Daisy, this person that he, feels this electric chemistry with, but it's different. You can't really compare them. And so when he kisses her, it really bugs me. And then there's another part at the last part of the episode where they're performing for the last time, but they don't really know it's the last time. And after, him and Camilla are having it out because she finally saw what Daisy means to Billy, and she's like, you got to make a choice at this point. But this is when she has twins, so it's even more higher stakes, I feel like. And they have this thing, he was like, I choose you, she left me, blah blah blah, they're making out and all this stuff like that, but that doesn't happen in the book. So they kind of over romanticize it, which kind of makes me mad. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a romance girl, but that kind of made me mad. But overall, I think that the adaptation from a book to a TV show was actually really good. I am extremely happy with the way that it was adapted, even though there was a lot of differences. I will say, if I would watch the TV show first, like I was going to do, and then I would have went back and read the book, I guarantee you I would have liked the TV show better because of how angsty and how they over-romanticized Billy and Daisy's relationship. I guarantee you I wouldn't have liked Camilla as much. But in the book, Camilla is my girl. I love her. I love what she stood for. I loved everything. And I thought that Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote the book really good. I don't know if she had any hand in playing with the adaptation and the script and stuff like that, but I think that if she did or didn't, whether or not, they did a really good job adapting to it. Now, like I said, Taylor Jenkins Reid has a lot of books. What bugs me and what I was confused about is out of all of her books, why they picked this one to turn into a TV show. Like for me, if you've read Evelyn Hugo, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, that would have been a beautiful movie or beautiful TV show to create. That book made me sob. It's one of my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid books ever. So if you haven't read that, definitely go read it. But I think that they did a really good job, and I hope that we see more movie adaptations of books, especially Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, or more historical fiction or even romance books, just because I think that you can do a good job with it. You know what I mean? Especially when you have good characters. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of book review versus the TV show review and comparing the differences. This is one of like the first ones that I kind of did like this, but I really wanted to do it. I spent the last week working on this, so I hope you enjoy it. Leave me what kind of emoji? Leave me like a guitar emoji, because they played guitar a lot and it was like all about rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to be a rock and roll band, because that's what you wanted to do in the 60s and 70s. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.